This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm talking about how to pay for college before your child ever sets foot on a college campus. Today, I want to talk about the steps that I am taking and plan to take in the future to ensure that all four of my kids finish school with zero to very minimal debt. Now, too many parents start thinking about how to pay for college when their kids are in high school. And as I laid out the numbers earlier in the week, that is just too expensive. 3-4 years out from college is just not enough runway to be able to save and see any meaningful growth from your savings. So you end up having to pay for most of college out of pocket, or your child ends up taking a lot of student loans out because, again, it's insanely expensive. And how are you going to pay for $150,000, which is the average cost of college over 4 years, without student loans? But if you are late to the savings game, all is not lost. If you have a big gap to fill, maybe you started saving early, but there's not a lot there compared to what the cost of college is going to be. Student loans are not the answer. Okay, I want you all to act as if you have some sort of allergy to student loans. Can't touch it, stay away from it at all costs. Again, it should be a last resort. We don't want kids set up, graduating college, getting a job, hopefully, not guaranteed. How long is it going to take them to pay those student loans off? I've seen loans take 20 plus years to pay off. And when you're making 60, 70, 80, even $90,000 a year out of college, fast forward 5-10 years, can you afford to buy a house? Can you afford to start a family? A lot of these big milestones that people want to achieve once they kind of get going into adulthood, they can't because they have this huge crushing burden of student loans. We don't want that. You do not want that for your kids. Too many parents who didn't save enough just blindly take out student loans. And I'm telling you, please don't do that. So here's what I would do instead in order of importance. And a lot of these things is kind of low hanging fruit. You don't have to be a genius at navigating financial aid. You just have to think ahead and make some plans. Just like retirement, it's like thinking ahead, doing a little planning goes a long way. Okay, the number one thing, maximize college credits while still in high school. I know of two high schoolers. Actually, one just graduated high school in the spring. The other is going to be a senior in high school. Both of them are going to have a 2-year associate's degree by the time they graduate high school. So they've gone through a special program, but a lot of high schools allow for this where you can earn college credit while still in high school. As much as you can earn college credit, you want to go that route. Again, I know there's competing priorities. A lot of high schoolers, I played my senior year, I played 2 varsity sports. I had a boyfriend who's now my husband. I had a very active social life. I'm very extroverted, so I loved hanging out with my friends. I was busy, but I was taking some advanced classes. But back then, this wasn't even something that was on my radar. I didn't have a lot of time for it. But if you're serious about going to college and you don't have the money to do it, parents need to have this conversation. Maybe you need to drop a couple extracurriculars. If you're not going in the NBA, do you really need to play basketball? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. The other one is once you get to college age, you want to complete the FAFSA every year. That is for the financial aid. Interestingly enough, no income cutoff to be eligible for financial aid. So depending on the schools you're considering, where you live, you might end up getting a decent amount of the cost covered by different types of, there's work study, there's grants, there's scholarships. There's a lot of private scholarships. This requires a lot of legwork though. I've seen Rotary clubs, other sort of civic clubs offering scholarships. So you have to do a little more digging and homework to figure out where some of those either needs-based or merit-based scholarships are offered. But it is worthwhile to look at that. And even just filling out the FAFSA every year seems like a no-brainer. Okay, everyone's favorite thing. I don't know. A lot of people are living at home now. When I was a kid in college, there was a real stigma associated with living at home, even past high school. But now, there's not a lot of stigma associated with it. So let's live at home. Let's start at community college. Even if I had a child who was educationally ready to go off to school, I would still do this for all of my children. I'm already planting the seed with my oldest, like, yeah, live at home, go to community college for a couple of years, at least 1 year, probably two. And not just for financial reasons, but for non financial reasons too. Most 18-year-old high school graduates, they are simply not ready for living away from home. They have a hard time managing their schedule, their school workload. I mean, you might have a really conscientious 18-year-old, and that's great. But a lot of them, they're just not ready for all of the overwhelming responsibilities that come with managing your school schedule. Also, the party scene and the sex culture on many college campuses is scary. And at best, it can be a real waste of time and money when kids are more focused on lifestyle and having a bunch of fun at college rather than doing well in class. Now, a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but it's important to question the value of the traditional route of college. You graduate high school, you go to a 4 year university. In the fall, you spend the next 4 years goofing around, forking over thousands of dollars every semester to sit in a large lecture hall, 200 other students all around you. You're being taught by a teaching assistant. I mean, that is the first 2 years of college for many people from a lot of the classes you're taking. I've been there. I know this. A lot of money and time wasted if you're just going to set foot on a college campus in the fall after graduating high school. Much smarter, live at home, save a bunch of money, go to community college for a year, 2 years, get used to college, ease your way into it. I don't see the value in a 18-year-old freshman going off to college, especially far away from home, when you can live at home for free, go to community college. A lot of people live within driving distance of community college that allow this. Okay, what else do I want to say about this? The other thing I think that is tremendous benefit, not just financially, of living at home and going to community college for a year or two after high school is that you can have a lot of deeper conversations about career interests and start working. So going to community college, you can work while you're in school. They're not as distracted by the social aspects of being at college when they're living at home. They can try different things. So I have a nanny right now who used to want to do something in the medical field, but she's also interested in tutoring and teaching, and she likes kids, and she's with my four rugrats all day, every day, and loves them and has a great time with them. So if you're a tutor, even just working at McDonald's or Starbucks or being out in the real world and working, you kind of develop certain interests and you see what you're good at, what your gifts are, what you have inclinations towards. You realize really quickly, like, oh, maybe I don't like this particular area. So it offers an opportunity to kind of narrow down what you might want to do. If you want to be a mechanic, if you like cars, if you maybe want to be a plumber or go into one of the trades, we don't want to waste time going to a 4 year university anyways. We want to go to a specialized school. So all of this, and by taking it slow and transitioning to college, or maybe not even going at all, depending on where their interest and skill set lies, is what the purpose of just taking a pause, not going to a 4 year university right out of college or right out of high school. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.